Welcome back to Wook Plus and the Dead and Co After Show. I am Weekend Wook, joined by Ghost Llama, not Kevin T, for better or
Yeah,
for
not
worse. What's up, Llama?
not much, man. Doing all right. It was a great show, I thought. You know.
Yeah, man, I really dug tonight's show. I think overall, Matt Bush, who wrote the set list, nailed it. He hit it out of the park. I think it was a great set list, and it was well executed. I don't think there was any major gaps or anything that was like, oh, dead and slow. They just killed it. It made it super. Like everything I thought was super well executed.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I like overall, like O'Teal was solid, the keys were solid. Like it was just a great night, I thought.
Yeah, Chimende had a big night tonight. I thought, like, I mean, it's hard to say because they all play really well most nights. And I'm a big O'Teal stan. The few times I've come on the Dedico after show,
Right.
I've been standing O'Teal, but I do feel like Chimenti had a big night. So I don't know. You want to get into the first set? See what
Sure, yeah.
let's run through things. So
Yeah, it sounds great.
I thought right out the bat, Here Comes Sunshine it's become like a crowd pleaser, like a sought after song. It was a really soulful rendition of it, and I think set the stage for the night really well. What'd you think about that to start things off?
Well, I think that it's kind of amazing how close to ticket time they started.
Right?
Like that was insane, man. Like it was so close to ticket time that I missed how Here Comes Sunshine. Like I came into Mississippi half step, so I don't know how the first song was. Like I
You know
was
what?
watching a
That's
baseball
fair.
game.
Ticket time was 7 o'clock, and like if you're at like Umphreys or Fish or Mo or whatever, and that would be like 7:32, 7:36,
Right.
7:38 would be what you would expect. And now, granted, Dedico has been doing this for a while now, where they're starting closer to ticket time, and they let people know to be there. But I still am like taken off guard every time they start 5 minutes after ticket time. You're
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
Oh, we're doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I thought it was so since you missed it, I'll tell you it was great. I mean, it wasn't there's the whole first set there wasn't any real jamming, but everything was played really well and it was super soulful. It was a very bluesy, soulful type of first set. So
Oh, for
uh,
sure. Like I saw the Mississippi half step. That's where I came in, right?
yeah,
So
what'd you think about that?
I think that's the song that like I would never put on a set list, but like I'm always glad that it pops up, because like if you were like hypothetically going to make your own Grateful Dead set list, right? You're going to leave off good songs.
Well, yeah, I
Like
mean that's just the
it's
nature
just
of
the way
having
it
that
is.
many. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say Mississippi Half Step would probably be the one that I would leave off the most that like should come on more. Like whenever I hear it, like when I saw Bob Weir with Wolf Brothers earlier, like they played Mississippi Half Step too. And it
Yeah.
was great. I don't know. It's always a fun tune to hear. And the
Yeah,
crowd gets into it.
it's a good song, and it goes with this whole vibe of the more of like the because Dead has different, they wear different faces or pants, and like Dead and Go, it's like, it's like a blues band or like a traditional rock band, a jam band, and like this set was like the more blues band. I love playing it. It's actually one of my favorite Dead songs to play, and I think it's one of the more enjoyable songs to listen to. And I really liked it going into Mr. Charlie, which for me personally is probably one of my favorite Pigpen tunes.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, it was great.
That segue into Mr. Charlie was
Yeah, it was great.
mm, that was that's like pro level. It's one of
It's
those
almost
that
like these guys know what they're doing.
yeah. Well, it's so good that like you just got to kind of stop. It's like when you go to like a restaurant and you know it's gonna be good food, but you still take that first bite and you're like, oh man, that's amazing.
I was
Like
saying that about John the other night. It was like I know he's a phenomenal musician, and I know like he's proven himself time and time again. And like, who am I? But every time I hear him play, I'm always surprised. I'm like, God, I forget how good fucking John
right.
Mayer is that guitar. I don't. It's because he had that pop background. It's easy to forget what a phenomenal musician he is.
Yeah. I
Well,
I can see that. Yeah, definitely. And he was kind of more constrained in that format too. I think he's a little more comfortable playing with the Dead
I agree. Yeah, he
or
seems.
with Dead and Company. Let me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? We don't need to be sticklers. I think everybody knows what we're talking about. No,
Yeah,
he seems really comfortable. He seems to be vibing and digging it. He really loves Jeff, though. That bromance between John and Jeff is amazing.
yeah.
I just think about how many young women are jealous of Jeff so much the more John looks at him.
There was some of that going on, and he's gone. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, and Brown Eyed Women, which were the next two songs, and then
Yeah.
he's gone. It's a slower song, it's fine, but the line about "steal your face," that's like probably one of the most classic line. You know what I mean? Like that's like the
Right.
whole crowd that gets into it, and I don't know.
No,
Great
it's
moment.
great.
It's good to catch that. I think. I feel like, especially this final tour, there has to be a lot of nostalgia and a lot of emotions going around. I know I'm feeling it, and I'm not even nearly as hardcore as most of the Deadheads I know, but like you feel it like an ending,
Oh, for
another ending
sure.
of a chapter. And I was thinking about that during Uncle John's band. We'll be skipping all over the place, but during He's Gone and a couple of other songs, it like sinks in like the emotions and the nostalgia of it.
Right. And for me, Brown Eyed Woman kind of does that. Like it's great.
This
And this, I don't know, this version was really danceable.
It was great. It really picked up the set. So like I was digging the set, and I'm not trying to sound negative. Like I was really vibing with this first set so far, but it did have not a slow energy, but like I was saying, like a more blues, soulful energy,
Yeah.
and it was like kind of in this vibe. And then like with He's Gone slowing down, and so I was afraid that it was going to grind to a halt after that. And Brown Eyed Women was the highlight of the set for me, and really picked things up, and I think took kind of launched the rest of the set and the rest of the show off. And man, John is great in that song. He plays and sings so well. I'm becoming. I'm sorry. I noticed the more I watched this, the more of a Johnny Salami stan I become. But
That's all right. That's all right.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it sounded really good. And you know what? I will also say, as a side note, the stream mix sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, I
Uh,
thought it was a really good mix tonight.
yeah, I had it in the Bose all night, and it sounded. Oh yeah, Eric.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly. It sounded really good tonight. Uh yeah, so anything else with that Brown Eyed Women?
No, I mean, it's a great song, good jam. Like I would agree with you. It was a set highlight for set one.
Yeah. What
Um,
did you think about Dear Prudence?
I actually I was listening to it, I was like, is this Dear Prudence? But like it was slowed down. So like it took me a minute to be like, oh yeah, it is. And I think that's kind of it was more bluesy, and
Yeah.
that was indicative of kind of the whole set of the night. And
I think Bobby sounded okay for
I thought
for
it was good.
Bobby. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think he sounds great. That's not his thing. He's not like the best vocalist on earth, but he sounded okay. I I'm always afraid of sounding pretentious or judgmental or whatever. I don't really love Beatles covers, with the exception of being A Day in a Life with Fish, just because they are able to capture the sound cacophony really well. But even that, beyond that, I don't even like when they cover the Beatles a ton. I don't know. Like it just for me personally, with my taste, that's one band that almost feels like you're better off not covering.
So is it because the Beatles are too quote unquote special, or is it because they just write really good studio stuff that doesn't translate to well to live music?
It's probably a bit of both. I think they had such a I don't know. It's like the sound of those songs are ingrained in my brain so precisely to what they sound like, and I try to be way more flexible with music, and I love different versions and renditions and arrangements of all sorts of shit. But that with their music, it's just like this is what Dear Prudence sounds like. This is what this song
Right.
sounds like, and it's like yeah. I agree, Stephen. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. It's fine. I'm not gonna be like I don't want to shit on anyone's parade, but I wouldn't be upset if they pulled Dear Prudence out of their rotation. But it sounded fine. It was good. It didn't fuck up the night at all.
Oh
Uh,
no, I
and
thought it
then
was a
they
good one.
closed out the set with Turn On Your Love Light, which it's a
It's
fucking
another pick tune, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and it's a fun bluesy dance party.
yeah.
You can't complain.
Oh
Uh,
man,
it was
it
great.
was yeah, it was a great first set. Like, and that Love Light's a great like. Oh, now it's set break. I'm ready for more already, though. Like you're kind of bobbing it, singing it, going to like go get a drink or going to the restroom or whatever you do during set break.
It was over by like 8:10, and which is crazy because like as we were saying, a lot of other bands probably for 7 o'clock ticket time probably wouldn't even have started till 7:40,
Right.
and like it was a short set and they started super early. I was surprised at how fast the set break came up, but as we're about to get into, it left a lot of room and they delivered on a really meaty second set, a really exceptional second set.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so this is the point of the night where we do our housekeeping. I haven't had to do this in a while. Kev's been doing a great job, but let me remind you to like this video. If you're watching right now, join the chat. I see you guys going off, having a great conversation. I'm going to try to hit some of your comments. If you're watching this afterwards, let us know what you thought about tonight's performance in Bristol, in Manassas, the traffic disaster of the world. I'm curious. I want to talk to Kev when he gets back what he thought about that venue. I've heard really bad things about Jiffy Lube, but so like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We do Dead and Co after show, 15 minutes after encore after every show. We're going to be doing the same thing after every Fish show this year. We also have regular content called microdoses where we talk about various topics, and every Wednesday night we have a live stream called Wook Plus Live, which is usually just talking about whatever's going on that week. So we welcome you all to come and join the conversation. Also, if you feel inclined, there's a super thanks. It's the little dollar sign. All that money is going to go directly back into the channel once we hit the threshold that YouTube holds for it. And we got big plans. We're here to provide some great Wook content for your consumption. So,
Yes.
how'd I do? Nailed it.
I
As
think you did
always.
really well. I think the only thing that needs to be taken care of is thank you for watching.
Oh
Right? That's
yes.
always a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We should just pre-record that because it's gonna be the same spiel every time. All right, set 2. What a
Yeah.
beast of a set. I fucking love Deal. And again, another bluesy song, a bluesy jam in it, but it was ripping. They came out of the gate, out of the set break, on fire, I thought.
Oh, the, I'm gonna take some heat, but I don't know. I could take or leave a deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But they played
That's
it
fair.
well. And it was the first time that I saw like the hologram in the back. It's above the drummers. It was like that spiral deck of cards.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, which you don't really get to see because they don't do like a whole stage shot on Nugs. It's like a bunch of weird solo transitions that overlap each other continuously.
Yeah, the choices film cinematography wise, like cinematically of like how they film it is strange, but I thought it was okay tonight. I mean, you know what I liked
Yeah.
tonight? What they featured Otil and Chimente and Jay and everybody a little bit more. The last couple of shows I watched, it was John Bobby, John Bobby, John Bobby. It's like
Oh, really?
you're like, there's four other people in this band, but yeah, no, I love Deal though, and I thought it was ripping, and I really liked it. I think everybody was having fun too, which
Yeah.
really came across well. And then it goes into Scarlet Begonias, which finally for me, and like I love the bluesy soulsy stuff, and like whatever your thing is, that's awesome. But I love jammy, spacey, drawn out, opened up Dead or music. Like
Right.
that's just what I personally am looking for. And this was actually, into the second set, the first point of the night where they actually opened up a jam and took something for a little bit of a walk. Uh, and I loved it. It was great.
No, I love Scarlet Begonias. I'll take it anytime. And to me, there's not a bad version of that song. Like, and tonight was no exception. I mean, to get that, and it just, I mean, look at the set list. Was it all segues? I don't think it was all segues tonight.
The second set was, yeah. I mean, some of them were loose, but I,
Right.
I think officially you would consider them all. I liked how it went to playing too. Like
Yeah.
Scarlet Fire is like my favorite of all the mashups, but maybe tied with HSF. But this playing, it was, I think, the highlight of the show. Absolutely phenomenal, very cool jam. And I wasn't expecting it. I guess still, like, I know they do other shit out of Scarlet, but like I was expecting Scarlet Fire. Just always when I hear Scarlet Begonias,
Oh,
I
yeah.
hear Fire next, and to go into playing, I thought it was nice. It was a good turn for the set.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And then to go into Cumberland Blues, like,
Yeah,
oh
dude.
man.
That I was gonna make the joke, and I was like, "Know your audience." I was like, also known as the Dead's Possum, but really, it's uh, who was the other guitar player with Fish? It was Jeff Holdsworth or whatever. That riff from Cumberland was like essentially the same riff that they built Possum off of, and I know the Dead did it first,
Oh,
but
well, of course the Dead did it first.
yeah, but like I listened probably on a proportion basis to Fish slightly more, um
Right.
but man, dude, talk about everybody having fun. This Cumberland was just, it was
Yeah.
a party on stage. Everybody was digging it.
Right. And then they'd show shots of the crowd and they were digging it too. Like everybody was grooving,
I
man.
wish we saw Kev. I was
I was
hoping we
looking
were gonna
for
see
him.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Every time they put, it is Possum Dave, right? Every time they turned to the crowd, I was like, zooming in. I was like, oh damn it, I need to get and I was ready to record it because I wanted to have a clip to show
Of
Kev
Kev.
like out of his mind. I didn't see him. I haven't even heard from him. He's good. Actually, I gotta give Kev a shout out. No tweets, no messages, no nothing. He was vibing and enjoying the show, which is what I want from buddies. If you're my buddy and you're at a show, don't don't enjoy the fucking show.
Yeah,
He was
for
digging
sure.
it. Yeah, the band was digging it, the audience was digging it. Cumberland was fun. And it was a nice reset after the spacey, drawn out, Scarlet and playing in the band. It was good to
Right.
have like that, fun bluesy jam. Um,
Yeah, especially going right into Uncles. Like
yeah,
that's
dude.
oh man. That's both band songs in one set. That's great.
I know like pretty much everything they play at this point is nostalgia AF, like because that's the nature of. I mean, being a. I don't want to offend anybody, but like Dead and Co's kind of like a glorified
Well,
tribute, or you know what I mean. Like there's so much history, but for whatever reason, this song tonight, out of all of them, was the point where I was like, where it felt like a tribute to the Grateful Dead, not like its own
oh, okay.
thing, right? Like it was like, I don't know. At least in the beginning when they're going through the verse and chorus, the jam was phenomenal. I think they absolutely nailed the jam. But the beginning, just, it felt like I think it was good. I think it was positive, but it was very like, I don't know how to describe it, right? Like where like the audience is singing and it's like kumbaya and everybody's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we're doing this. It's the last tour. Everybody's been doing this forever.
There you go. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think Dave summed it up nicely.
And that's also a good excuse for me to stop talking because I was di- digging myself right into that hole. These are
That's all
just, they
right.
were like the random thoughts going through my head as I'm watching it, but
Yeah.
it was fun, man. I You're right. None of this show was like, I mean, maybe not none of it, but a lot of it wasn't what I would have written in like an ideal set list. But I
Right.
loved where everything went. I think again, I
Yeah.
think Matt killed it with the structure of this set list, having the bluesy rock and then the spacey jams and the evolution of it. And it almost felt like musically there was a narrative. And I mean, I
Right.
know Kev dissects the lyrics a little bit more and gets into like what like the the themes of the words. I just mean musically there was a narrative through the whole show that was very well executed. And I shout out to Matt for just killing it with this set list, I think.
Right. And you brought up that idea of making your own set list again, right?
Yeah.
It kind of shows you like how much of a talent it really is to put together a set list, especially from a deep catalog.
It has to be one of the most fun exercises ever. I mean, honestly.
But it's got to be challenging.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's like, isn't that like the nerdy jam band fan like
Yeah.
thing to do? I've done that before with buddies where we like just draft out set shit. I mean, I do that with Hugh. We fucking have a tenth of the Des catalog or 100th of it. But even with the 50 songs we have, it's still fun writing out set
Oh
lists and
yeah,
shit.
for sure, for sure. It's just
Uh,
at that level where you got to like take into like, okay, this is going to be somebody's last show, right? That they're probably ever going to see them play. Like, what do we want to give them? Like, there's a whole nother like
this
level of
year, yeah, no,
complexity
definitely.
that like, yeah, that I don't even think we've even talked about set list wise, right? Like,
Well,
what's the final show of the tour? Like, what's that set list going to be like?
what I like about Matt and Dead and Co. And then this is gonna get in context versus like Fish or whatever. It's like they're not trying to subvert expectations. They're not trying to like play games. Like, and I get
Right.
why Trey does it, right? Like he wants to, oh, you think this is a, and it's not just now, it's always been like, oh, you think this is a first set song? We're gonna pull it out in the second set and jam the fuck out of it, or vice versa. But I
Right.
kind of appreciate the structuredness of the Grateful Dead and now how Matt's writing the set list. It's a very it's easy to anticipate this set list, but it's so rewarding. It's like fan service. It's just it gives
Yeah.
you what you want when you want it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Or it gives you what you didn't know you needed, right?
Right?
Like I didn't know I needed that playing in the band tonight, but
But you did. You
I
very
did.
much did, and they very
Yes.
much killed it.
Yeah.
Um
Speaking of killing it, that drums beam space was good.
Yeah. I think the drums have been phenomenal this tour.
Yeah.
Uh, I
Is
love
O'Till usually on drums too, or was that special for tonight?
no, yeah, he's been playing it
Oh,
each
okay.
night. But I will say I saw some of the rudiments he was playing tonight. Like I always knew he came out for drums, but I didn't realize the kind of finesse he had on the drums. He was playing shit tonight on drums that like really good drummers play. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just
Yes.
he wasn't just hitting random quarter notes. Like he was
Right.
doing some complicated patterns. So it's
At
like I
some
always know he's out there, but I didn't
yeah.
realize how much he actually contributes to it. Probably more than Mickey, to be honest. Like maybe
Right.
not more, but as much.
Yeah. I mean, at one point he was like his left hand was going twice as fast as his right hand and it was staying in rhythm. And at that point, I can't do that, right? So I'm just like, that's unbelievable, you know?
Yeah, I
Like
do. I
to be
do
that
get.
coordinated and on time.
I do think though the 16th note tribal thing does get a little bit tired. And like now I'm being hypercritical. I apologize. I think it was fucking phenomenal. All the disclaimers. But they do drum circles in general and like drums do tend to fall in that trap of like and like the 16th note tribal, like where they swell it and stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of times though they've broken away from that and done cool syncopated things and triplet patterns. Um, but yeah, let's stay on the positive. I think drums in general this tour and tonight were very strong. I was
Yeah.
disappointed to not see a conch shell. Mickey announced today that there was some conch instrument, conch horn that he was gonna highlight in drum space, and maybe he did. I didn't see it. I was very much looking forward to Mickey's conch
Yeah,
performance, but
yeah.
I never
I
got it.
didn't. Yeah, I didn't hear conch in that. So
Yeah.
yeah. Oh well.
So, do you want to say anything about space? I am a self-confessed not a space fan personally, so I
I
will
mean,
abstain from it.
I mean, space did its job. It allowed everybody to get back on stage where they needed to be. So
What I will say is going into milestones out of space is probably my favorite landing spot out of space. Um,
okay.
it's a Miles Davis standard. It's jazzy as fuck, obviously,
Yeah.
and it shows the range and the musicianship of the band better than most songs. I think the execution and the way Jay and Chimenti lined up right out of the gate. Chimenti sets it up. He does that little syncopated pattern,
Yep.
and Jay picks it up, and then O'Teal picks it up after that, and eventually the whole band locks in. Miles Davis is, I mean, his tunes are hard, right? Like they're
Oh
not
yeah.
they're not easy songs to pick up, and they executed it tonight phenomenally. And this isn't the first time they played. It played fairly often, and always out of space. But it was great,
Yeah.
absolutely
Oh yeah.
incredible.
I think this was the point of the show where I put in the group chat, this is jazzy as fuck.
Yeah, I actually wrote down where Lamas said jazzy as fuck. Oh no, that was in the Cumberland Jam,
Okay. Okay.
which was
Which was still
also
jazzy.
jazzy as fuck.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the Cumberland Jam was jazzy as fuck until you compare it to Milestones. And then you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah. This is way more jazzy.
yeah, Dave. Jeff is a jazz genius on piano, and that's
Nice.
why I was saying at the top of the show how I think I said it. It might have just been in my notes, but he was a highlight tonight. I think he really was showcased well tonight. And I loved this milestones, and I love that he went into days between, which is like a fairly common landing spot for milestones, but not a super common overall song to catch. I think it's been a couple of years since they played it, but it was cool. I mean, I know Kev was chasing it and wanted it, so I'm glad he got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Days Between. That's a tour debut. It's not on Kev's spreadsheet.
Yeah, yeah. I think,
Oh,
but I think
so
it usually does come out of milestones, though.
yeah.
What
Yeah.
else? You talk for a
What
minute.
else
I
we
gotta
got?
pour another drink.
Oh, you got to pour another drink, so I got to talk. So we were doing milestones, days between. That's always a good one. I would say throwing stones. It was I and I don't know. I don't have much to say about throwing stones other than it was kind of like the slowdown of the night to like catch your breath a little bit.
It was good because I don't know if you're familiar with Manassas or Bristow or like the DC suburbs. Nova is what, because I went to school at Virginia Tech, and like, so I'm like pretty familiar with it. But it's like everyone there is not everyone, but there's a lot of connections to the government, right? Because it's like right outside of
Right.
DC. Everybody's federal. Um, yeah, exactly, Dave. It was a message to the politicians. I feel like you look at the tour, this is the point of the tour to play that song. The
Oh,
the,
okay. Yeah.
the random ass thought I had was how cool. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How cool fucking these guys are. I watch Fish and I'm like, these guys are fucking nerds. Not as a bad thing. I like it. Like I'm a nerd and I
Right.
I love it. But like, you see Trey and Paige, like they're fucking nerds. You see fucking O'Teal and John and Bobby and like
Yeah.
and Jay and like they just look and sound and act so fucking cool. Like I know that I don't know like that's such like a 90s thing to say. I mean, I don't know, but like and during Throwing Stones with like the political message and the way O'Teal's just grooving and the way everybody looked, I was like, this is actually a really cool fucking band. I mean, I was
Yeah.
digging it. Ah, man. And
And then
then they ruined it. Not ruined it.
No.
It's fine.
Oh no. See, because they hardly ever play One More Saturday Night on Saturday night, so it's kind of special when you do get it on a Saturday night, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like that's not that uncommon, but it was good. I honestly forgot it was. I
Saturday.
forgot it was Saturday. I had no idea what day it was, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, guys, it's Saturday." I was like, "Oh yeah, I see what you did there." But it's a fun way to end the show. I think with the
Yeah.
energy they had in this show, it was a nice exclamation point on the set. I think overall very positive. I have very positive thoughts about tonight, and I think that was a good way to end it.
Yeah, well, I think the LOL Nope, Hardly Ever, and the last time they played it was a Saturday night, so I was wrong as fuck. I guess they do play it often on Saturday night. I just don't pay attention.
Yeah, Dave, I agree. No, guys, give Llama a break, man. Like, it's cool. He's filling in. I'm filling in. Kevin T are the old deadheads. We're just here filling in tonight.
I don't mind being wrong. I love learning new things. Like Saturday night gets played on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cliche at this point, but it's fine. It's like I was saying, like, I like that they're not. I appreciate. I don't know that I would say I love it, but I appreciate that they're not subverting expectations. It's like they are. This is the last tour. They know what people, like they're just giving it because, like you said, this might be your last show. So, they're giving everybody their last show.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. And then this encore, Bobby and John coming out acoustic, and I love Ripple. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I've heard a bad Ripple. It's one of those songs that it's a good one, and I love the lead solo on the acoustic that John does. It was great. It was a nice way to end the show, I felt like.
True. Yeah, which I think that's a nice way to end this one too.
Yeah, and holy shit, we've been bullshitting.
Yeah, we've been gabbing. Yeah, you've been going on strong tonight.
Yeah, I was nervous about it because Kevin T been doing such a great job, and Kev went to the show and he was like, "Hey, fill in." All right. I mean, we do this shit so often. Did you see, by the way, we have 20,000 hours of views on YouTube? Thank you, everybody who's watching and contributing to that number. I appreciate the shit out of all of you.
That's 20,000 thank you cards you should write.
All right. Well, I guess we'll get out of here. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes,
like
thank
and
you
subscribe.
very much.
We'll be back on, I think, Monday night's the next after show, and then Wednesday with the live. See you next time.